Homeless, welcome to Notes of Nara. My name is Naja Rashida here, and we're going to talk about empaths. Empaths, yes. Um, I have that attribute all the way. Well, how is that connected to accountability? I will say this: empaths have this beautiful gift of being able to eat the sin of other things, of other people. What do I mean by that? I mean, we can literally consume darkness, burdens from other people. You'll find empaths anywhere and everywhere. Usually we're in the dark, shadowy places in the world. I know when the whole light worker, thing took off in the early or like 2010s. Oh, you're a star seed. You're a star seed. Everyone's a star seed. That was a big one, and I never really got full. I didn't jump that on that wagon. I'm like, I allow people to label me what they want. Let people make stories about stories of you, but don't consume the stories that people are trying to project onto you about you. You know you. You study you. You know you. You study you, and that's all that matters. Right? And if someone's being kind and loving and giving you constructive criticism, that's one thing. But people usually will like to project, okay, their stuff. And empaths, we eat it. We eat it. There is a sect in Catholicism called the Sin Eaters. They go by another name. I was very intrigued by this because there was a movie with the late, what's his name? He was young. Australian actor, 28, he died. I was in college when that happened. Heath Ledger. Okay, very attractive, blondie, Aussie, and he passed away due to, he OD'd on something. Very sad, but very talented. Anyway, there was a movie, I don't know if it was called Sin Eater or maybe it was from a different name, but he had this gift of eating the sin of people. And he was part of like this Catholicism, this priesthood where, literally like people on they're dying on their deathbed, he would be able to go in and eat their sins before they go to I think to hell or to heaven. I haven't watched it in a really long time. I watched it a couple of years ago. It was so interesting. And he fell in love. He fell in love with a woman, because there was also a guy going around like killing people in the movie. I can't remember all the plots, or the whole plot, but there's a young woman that he was trying to protect, and he fell in love with her. But unfortunately, he was out doing something else, and this guy got to her first and took her life. So she was like on her last breath. And what he did, he placed his hand over her chest, and he took, any sin, all the wrongdoings in her life. And you could hear, like in the scene, you could see this like weird energy, thing form. And it was, you can hear laughter, like all the way back to her childhood. You can hear, certain pieces of dialogue. And he like, I can't remember if he consumed it and ate it. I don't know. It was alchemized some way, and then she died. It was sad. But then at the end of the movie, he went after the really big, evil dude, and the guy was dying, and he was like, he was saying, well, "You're here to eat my sin, so I can get into heaven," and I don't think he ate it. And at the end, his whole chest concaved. It caved in, like his whole breastplate, like his whole sternum just. I was like, ooh. And then the Sin Eater walked away. And they were gonna make a part 2, but then, the actor like up and died. But anyway, it's not that graphic for empaths. Can be nefarious. Some people will pick up on your sensitivity and on a subconscious, like psychic level, and they just dump on you, and like they will just just vomit their dark stuff. And a lot of the time, it's because empaths can't have the capacity. We have the capacity to take it, but then it's our job and our skill to alchemize and then release. Digest, release. But a lot of the time, to the unskilled or young or naive empath, they will harbor energy. They'll harbor it and hold on to it, and then they're wondering why they have so like many issues or blocks or stagnation. So yeah, it's not just about feeling other people's feelings, empathy. It's which most human beings have, but with empaths it's on a whole different level. Like it's I can feel when like my energy is zapped, or I can feel when I've taken on something for someone else. I can feel when I am holding space, right? I'm glad that term's gained popularity. Holding space for another during a traumatic processing moment that they're having. I just, it feels like that's, when I am called to do that, this is why I don't sell classes. I don't teach classes on this. I don't, have a pop-up shop. Come to me and I'll charge you $75. Don't get me started on that. The people who need the most help when it comes to healing and energy, they usually can't really afford it. And I just find it preposterous that people will charge other people $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 to get healings. And what? I just do it for free. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? So I go when I'm called and when I'm guided to. But yeah, empaths, we must take accountability for our energy, our own energy, right? Empaths have to go an extra mile to protect their autonomy and their sovereignty, because people tend to try to walk all over people who have this ability. Does everyone have this ability? Yes. Is everyone meant to access this type of ability, or this gift, if you want to call it, in this life? No. Right? It's almost like, everyone's meant to be a doctor. Everyone's meant to be a surgeon. Absolutely not. Everyone's meant to be an artist. Absolutely not. Everyone's meant to be a teacher. Absolutely not. Everyone's meant to be a professional athlete. No. We all have designated parts and designated roles to play in our lifetime. You know what I'm saying? When we play many different roles in many different parts, in many different moments in time while we are alive in our vessel. So yeah, so empaths, it's taking accountability for what is ours and what is theirs. That is incredibly important. You strengthen that through discernment. Discernment is key. It is critical. Usually for me, I have to have a lot of time alone. I always struggle. I always wondered why, dating has always been with me, like relationships, because I completely want to embed myself in another person. That's how I love. I love very fully. When I am sharing my love, I love very fully all the way through. I don't reserve, but now as an aging empath and through life experiences, I know that I have to respect the nature of the gifts that I have. There are things that I must be reserved in, and time is a big one, right? Of course, who doesn't want to spend large amounts of time with their friends and with their family and around lovers or husbands and boyfriends that love them, or girlfriends or wives that love them? But at the same time, if you're truly embodying the role as an empath or healer, whatever, call it whatever, all right? But empaths, that term is now very commonplace, so that's why it's in the title. Um, but I will say, it's hard. It's hard for empaths to let go of what doesn't belong to us sometimes, you know? And you have to understand you can't save people. We're not here to save people. We're here to help people process. We're here to help people alchemize what isn't theirs. Alchemize what is theirs. Alchemize what is ours. That is a personal sole responsibility of a human being, is to know how and to become master of the self through alchemizing difficult shit, through challenging shit. It's our responsibility. There's this thing called dark empaths. I'm not really into that. I don't know what that is. AI, and the AI is really taking over this social media platform. Anytime I click on something, it's most things that I see now is I hear AI doing a voiceover, talking about sigmas, talking about human psychology. Then they have these weird thwarted artistic AI art pieces, these images that depicts what they're talking about, and it's just really very concerning. So please be on the lookout for that. This is why I keep it very basic. There's just me and the camera, okay? Over time I'll get a higher quality camera and mic and all that, okay? But just keep it simple. The most important thing I could ever share with you all is the message. But this whole AI thing that's taking over I will say, like, the human psychology and spirituality and content that covers this type of topics that I talk about, be on the lookout for that. You have no clue who's putting that together. You have no clue who's creating what. It's gotten to the point where I'll watch, like, forced to watch a commercial or something, and I'll watch the person's face and their mouth isn't lined up to what they're saying, what the voiceover is saying, but it's like an image of a real person. It's getting really very just out of hand. Out of hand. So I just wanted to share that with you. I will always keep it simple and keep it just human and organic. I'm not, when I post my music and get that together, yeah, you're going to hear like synths and synthesizers. You're going to hear like music programs through that I use on the computer if I'm not recording live music. But in general, I just want to keep this as organic and human as possible. So back to empathy, or the empaths, and accountability of our energy. When an empath, it takes time to clean out your energy. It takes time to recover sometimes. I remember there was an instance in my life, I was going through a major shift, and I went to a convention because it was part of my path to go through there, of 20,000 people for this MLM in Utah. And I was so overwhelmed. There was so much going on in my life at that moment, and it was overwhelming. And it takes a while for me to kind of recover. You know what I'm saying? Nature is my church. Right now I'm by the river. So after this video, I'm going to go. Because the sunlight and the spring is coming. There's a shift of energy, but the river spirit is so strong over here, and I love it. I think the next place I want to live is by water. I really feel that. There's something just, oh God, water is beautiful. But I live in a water city. I live in a water city. I live in a river city, and so it's really nice. I'm really looking forward to hearing it and walking by the river tonight. But yeah, empaths, just be aware of this. Because empaths can be this, it's almost like, oh, I'm an empath, so like I can feel things, I can feel other people's energy. Okay. I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot. And then whenever I hear that, it's like, what methods are they using to ground themselves, to integrate, to process, to alchemize these very dense energies that they consume? And then it has me I ask the same question myself, like, what is, what am I doing? And the system that I have in place, is it good enough to, purge? You empaths have to purge what isn't ours. We have to purge what is ours. We have to discern what between the two, what is our energy and what's another person's energy, and thoughts and thought forms and programming. Because like I said before, people can be so full of lack of love, which is evil, which is hatred, a lack of love, that lack of love has nowhere else to go but out. It's parasitic. And so empaths can become hosts to some very dark energies, and then they wonder why they keep attracting very dark people into their lives. I know why I do it at times, because I have this optimism in me for humanity. I see the best in people. I truly do. But that's shifted, and I'm working on that, because I want to continue to see the best in people, however, not be so naive to the possibility that they do not see me in the same light. That is a hard truth for me to swallow. Not everyone sees the love that you see in them within themselves, and they definitely don't see it in you. But when you come around and you're exuding all this love, you're exuding all this light, you're exuding all this truth, you're exuding just such a positive experience, they don't like it. They love it, they want to be around it, but they don't want to do the work. They want you to eat their sin for them. And then when you refuse, that's when they attack. I'm an individual that I don't necessarily like mind games. I love the psychology of humans, of human beings, but human nature. But mind games do nothing for me. It only educates me. Makes me that much stronger. I don't know what else to add to this, but may this message find you well and whole. And if you are an empath, because not everybody is. Everyone has empathy, right? But empaths is just a different type of experience. And it's a different type of experience. 9 times out of 10, empaths are codependent. And believe you me, it takes one to know one. And I was for a long time. And I finally worked on that. It's something I always have to be mindful of. That's why I'm fiercely independent now. Very fiercely independent. Once you wake up and you heal the codependency in you, it's like you can't really turn back. And it makes you very, very, it empowers you. It empowers you. But that is all I will share. And may this message find all the empaths that need a little help. Because it's rough. It is not easy. That's why it's like when I hear like, oh, I'm an empath. Oh, you are? Okay. Let's have a conversation. Maybe you can help me out. Empaths, literally, we see the light. We see the angelic parts of humanity. We can see right through the calcification, the demonic attachments. We can see through all of that shit. We see through all of your over-identification. Woo! And when we should be turning the other direction, when we should not be engaging with a certain energy. But you have to learn. That's the only way. Not everyone is meant to be, you're not meant to help and heal everybody that you bump into or that you love. And that's hard. That's hard when you can see love and light and in the angelic light body in people, and you gotta turn away. That is very difficult. And you can choose to go right in, head first or feet first. Doesn't matter. You choose to go against that pull. Like the universe, your intuition, your guide will say, don't. This is not for you. You see it, don't touch it. Walk away. But nope. You ignore and you're like, no, I have the capacity to help them process their shit. And then they shit on you. It takes a lot to learn this. It's a skill. It's a skill that you have to learn through trial and error, unfortunately, because no one can tell an empath. You have to experience it. You have to experience what it's like to go against your intuition, go against guidance, and try to pull someone out of their nightmare because you can handle it. Okay. You have to be accountable for you, my dear empaths. You cannot be held accountable for someone else. That is it. That is all I have to say. I'm going to go on my river walk, and I am going to go do grad work. And, oh, God, there's so much work. If someone were to tell me about the documentation of this job, oh my goodness. But I'm here. I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to finish this program, get my master's degree. Assignment after assignment, test after test, pass a state exam. I'm getting it. I'm going for it. I'm going for the gold. And then we'll see how things evolve and shift in my life. I really miss my artwork and I miss my music. All right. See ya.